Here on Kiwi.
The Radio Waymo Breakfast.
Issues of the day under T-Radar.
From the confines of his living room with issues of the day, it is T-Radar. Morning, T-Radar.
I'm very worried, Wemo.
Yeah?
I'm very worried.
Why?
I'm in my home, and 12 people a week are killed in their home.
Oh, that's true.
I would be safer in my car, just driving around.
Yeah. What could happen to you sitting there right now in front of your computer?
I suppose I could knock the laptop into my lap somehow and be electrocuted.
Yeah.
Or I could fall on my toe and stub it. I'm just trying to think. I'm in that state of paranoid sort of flux where I'm looking around and everything is a potential hazard. I've got bookshelves, enormous bookshelves that I erected myself, so they could crash onto me.
There's a problem.
That's definitely a problem. I got light bulbs that I change, and sometimes I don't know if I'm using a new bulb or not, so I leave it on and put the bulb in, and if it goes, I go, oh yeah, that's, rather than putting the bulb in and then turning the light switch on, that could hurt me.
There's the long-term possible death from the radiation from your computer screen?
Yes, there is that. Yes, there's I could hurt my head as I bang it incessantly on the keyboard and wondering why Vodafone won't send me any of my emails, and yet does have the ability to send me ridiculous promotions.
Yeah.
Saying what a great company are. Last week there was a big Vodafone have been terrible with getting people's emails through. And last week the only email I got was one from Vodafone saying, here's a great scheme. If you want to go and help do something wonderful, we'll pay your salary for a year in this competition. I went, I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is take that money and fix your system.
Well, my question is, though, just not to, we're getting away from issues of the week and stuff, but not to get too geeky, but why are you still using ISP Vodafone email? Why don't you use Gmail or something?
It's actually worse than that, Wemo. I'm on iHug.
Right.
Remember iHug?
Yeah.
Because I got on it and I'm just too useless to change. So that's another danger. A danger in the home is I won't be alerted to the fact that something could be happening and I'll be trapped in my home. I could be underneath, like that poor woman in America. She was missing for 4 months, this woman in Nevada. There was an enormous search. Her husband searched all through the desert. They called in special dogs that had been used to help locate bodies at Ground Zero, and they couldn't find her. And then eventually he saw her feet sticking out from underneath an enormous pile of stuff that had fallen over in their house.
Golly gosh.
She was such a terrible hoarder, and she'd be crushed underneath it.
Wow, so she was actually killed by the stuff.
She was killed by stuff, by knickknacks, clothes, trash and junk.
Because, I mean, how many times have we seen this, this comedy portrayal of someone opening up a wardrobe and it all coming down, piling down on top of you? This happened for real.
Exactly, and at that point it piles out and hilarity ensues, but quite a serious issue. So ACC, how soon before ACC starts coming into our houses and doing assessments of our hoarding? Go, no, you've got too much stuff. That's stacked in a dangerous manner. You can't have that. You'll have to get rid of it.
It does put things in perspective, this culture of fear that we have in society about, flying and driving and going about and, extreme sports and all this whatever stuff. But really, just living pretty much is, if you want to term it that way, it is dangerous.
Yeah. Last year, 5,400 people injured while using a ladder at home. That's 15 a day. So even as we speak, this morning someone has probably already been injured by a ladder. And before we go to bed tonight, another 14 will have been involved in a ladder injury.
Is it
in their homes?
Is it evil of me to wish some kind of injury, home-inflicted injury on the person who stomped on my daffodils this morning?
That is it. Look, I'm absolutely aghast. Who would go out at this time of the year? There's that sense of the burgeoning life. Spring is coming. The buds are on the trees. The daffodils are popping their little yellow heads up. And some miscreant has gone out and willfully killed yours. How did they have to actually walk to them?
Yes.
They weren't. They would have accidentally walked on them.
Had to walk off the footpath, off the beaten track, right up against the fence. You'd have to, and then you'd have to go, F you, Spring! And stomp on them.
Well, that's just a symbol of what's going on. That terrible headline this morning in the paper: a poor little puppy used as a basketball.
Yeah.
And someone's gone out and killed your daffodils.
Well, it's daffodils first. That's a gateway. It's a gateway to these harsher crimes. Then it's puppies, and then it's people.
That's right. Yes, it's dreadful. And then they end up shooting at cricket. It's not a good week for just general human honesty. Cricket, that's the most English of sports. But of course, now a big scandal in Pakistan because people have been cheating in it. And you just think, is there nothing sacred anymore? Was it ever sacred?
No. Look, I mean, I look at it the same way I look at the Olympics now. You know, just let them go at it. But take all the drugs and make them Medicaid and stuff, and let's have all the betting, throw all the money in it, commercialise it, whatever. You know, who cares anymore? Who cares about sport and keeping it real?
Yeah, it's like the Tour de France. You just look and you go, look, I don't care. Even if you are on drugs, it's an incredibly tedious piece of sport. So you might as well juice yourself up and go for gold.
Yeah. So why
literally go for gold?
Why not have, you know, the game goes to the highest bidder, and that just happens to be the betting man.
Why not? You know, it makes me think it's time to move to somewhere nicer. And I was thinking, you know, Western Australia, out there on the coast, it'll be lovely. But they've been in trouble this week. They had a primary school had a dress-up competition, and a child dressed as Adolf Hitler won first prize. And so there was wailing and a gnashing of teeth. They said it's inappropriate for a child to dress as Hitler.
How old was this child? Do we know?
A
child.
He was a Year 4 student. Yeah, so what's that?
That's
Must be
young.
about 9. And also some people complain because children dressed up as vampires or the Grim Reaper. Nothing's good over there.
Well, obviously, you know, as you say, it was probably a very good uniform.
It was probably excellent. He probably turned up. He had a little moustache. They may have cultivated that over a period of weeks.
Yeah, done the parting of the hair.
All of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, kids do look pretty funny dressed as Hitler, in my opinion. Little mini Hitlers everywhere. Quite amusing. But here's a good one, though. So Perth as well last week. Enormous controversy because for an assignment, a teacher sent all the kids home and they had to devise, if they were going to be a terrorist, what would they do to kill the most possible people in a terrorist strike? And everyone said, oh, that's inappropriate. You can't have kids doing that. Well, what they should have said was, this is excellent. And they should have sent every single assignment along to the national security people in Australia and gone, look, this is what the kids have come up with. You should have a look at this in case any of these ideas have slipped past your thought tanks, past sort of thinking panels, and gone, look, from the minds of children, these devious things that criminals could come up with, and then the school would have been lauded for being patriotic Australians helping out in the fight against terror.
Yeah, especially out there in Western Australia. I mean, you look at it on the map, it's so isolated. You know, it's so isolated. They've got their own gene pool going on that side of it. I mean, you look at the map and you throw a dart and you go, what's going on there? I don't know.
Well, a lot of New Zealanders have gone over there to sort of deep in the gene pool, but no, because, you know, it's, in the States, they have, quite often when there's a terror thing, they had all of the film directors and film writers, they brought them into big thinking panels, you see. So, a little bit of outside thought.
Yep, creative thinking. A lot of creative thinking at this New Zealand's Next top model. A bit of controversy over the past week with that.
Yes, good, and more ways than one. Controversy, of course, because the newspaper pointed out that they'd been photoshopping some of the contestants. They'd been trimming down their sort of underarms and their inner thigh area, in a very bad bit of photoshopping, because if you zoomed right into their crotches, which, you know, would only take a tabloid journalist to go, hey, I think I'll zoom into their crotch and see if it's been photoshopped. Clearly you can see where they've sort of very badly carved a bit out with the photoshopping thing.
Yeah.
But worse still to me is the New Zealand Herald named the 6 finalists. You know, there's still another 6 weeks to go. They're still eliminating people, and they spoiled it. It would be as if I was to come out every day and tell everybody what's happening in Shortland Street, or to if you were reading a book and ran up to you in a bus stop and went, guess what? He dies. It all, you know, it ruins it. What's
it does.
The point?
Yeah.
Churlish.
Yeah.
Spoil sport.
And it's a ridiculous, stupid, spiteful thing between media companies in New Zealand as well.
It is just a sort of a further sort of decline of the Herald during the week into the sort of tabloid-esque rag that it's become. I'm very glad they have it free online and I don't have to spend any money on it.
It all starts with stomping on daffodils, T-Radar.
That's where it all starts, and it leads to spiteful vindictiveness.
Yeah.
I hope that there are some daffodils that have yet to flower and pop their heads back through, and so that this time next week there'll be a sort of second growth come through.
I'll let you know, T-Radar. I'll let you know.
There's a hole in my heart where your daffodils used to be.
Yeah. We'll catch you next week, buddy.
We'll speak again.